So, thank you. We've received 5 questions from the retreat. So now I'll put them one by one to Genla, and we can go through them here. So the first one, I'll read it in English first. I find it very difficult to accept that all infinite beings have been my mother, but I can appreciate that many, many beings have been involved in providing my food, shelter, clothing, work, etc. in this and all other lifetimes. So therefore, would it be better for me to use the equalizing self and others technique, or is it enough to want to repay the kindness of others, even though I don't relate to them having all been my mothers? Dene Gyunde Menak Dang Lady Simjin Samangomang Amayi, Dene Medi Daklin Yamne, de Yamne Jena, de Yaga de Bear, de Dampare.
Jina Gyunde Menga to you done some diety, Simja Tamja Ranga Amaji Noadi, Jenku word in it, Yagap, Sosorangi, Samnonalia, the Chick. Haji to Scala Haurachi, Gana Yovena, and Jig, and the Delia, and the Jig, Dashan Jig, some now combina, Lolia cum de Unadi, cum Natigore, Gashimane, and cum Natigo Dashan in the other, Simjan Amachiman, you are Maria, some behavior, some Guayo Marada, Deneza, Dashan Jig, some Tacumna, and Digorova.
If one is struggling to see that all beings have been one's mother, then temporarily to not engage in the 6 cause and 1 effect method, but rather to engage in the equalizing and exchanging self with others, this is fine. But the one point to stress though is if you're having difficulty accepting with sincerity that all beings, I have this intimate relationship with all beings, that they have been my mother, that's okay. But I don't go to the extreme of saying it's not the case that all beings have been my mother. It's fine that something hasn't arisen within oneself or something hasn't been realized. That's fine. But don't abandon it. Don't abandon this correct presentation. Oh, this is not the case. Rather, if one feels, I don't quite get this yet, that's okay, and then practice equalizing and exchanging self with others.
Gabriel, Chikisimje, Tangana, Kiawaro, Chikazi, Mesanan, Chik, that Kiawale, Ya, Yamakiwa, Mading among Yores, Satan Dininza, Gabriel Yama, Chike, Denigio, Mongolino, Biki, two Shinakazi, Yumina, Susamura, Kazi, Dam Tudi, Chisamdana, Yawarwa. Kiawakazi, the Dangan, Kiawama, Yore, the Dinga, the Kiawama said, 2 years, 2 years, and the Niki Yore, some damena, and the some legal, some time, out that Kiawama, Michilikian, the amateur, and Bishore, and the Kiawadinga Madela, some gently the amateur, and big, the Niki to Susio, some tiny thing, and then Kansam Chili order, some gentamja, Rangi Majino, Janja Insere, some big, some of the young secrets.
So that advice there is temporary advice. So for the period, whilst one struggles to accept that all beings have been our mothers, then the advice is, that's fine, don't abandon this correct view, but engage in the practice of equalizing and exchanging self for others. And also, one can and should engage in the reflection as to that establishes why we do have this relationship of parent and child with all beings. And that is, this life, we all have a life now. The consciousness that came into this life came from a previous life. It's an impermanent phenomenon, so it came from a previous life. And in that previous life, we would have been born to a parent, just like this life. Whether we're human or not, we would have been born from a parent, and therefore we would have had a parent in that life. And that life, just like this life, the continuum came from a life previous to that. And in that life previous to that, there would have been a mother from whom we would have been born, we would have had parents, and therefore we had, in the same way we have parents in this life, and in our previous life, we also would have had in our life previous to that. And as this process has no beginning, we therefore know, having taken uncountable rebirths, we therefore are not able to say that there is any, as the number of rebirths are infinite, so too are our mothers. Our mothers are therefore infinite, uncountable. And in this way we can establish that we do have a relationship of parent and child with all sentient beings. So you would have heard that before, but do keep reflecting on it, and then engage in the practice you're more comfortable with, that one of equalizing and exchanging self with others. And then the second question, in the presentation probably on karma, Genla said that physical sickness is caused by killing in previous lives. However, I always thought that the result of killing in previous lives was to be killed yourself in this lifetime, not just having your lifespan shortened. So can Genla please elaborate on this? Dene Lobsang Dorje, dene te di nata de drebure de gyu kirangoma ngato semchen seso. Dene nge samlas sokyo ken sena. Dene di drebude mindu, dene shimpe ngato sekiare, ngato tsechum drebude chupu mares.
Dadi, kisingi share di pechun sam share, the drebu tra mangunyo yorba, dene dadi kira sheba nashe dara yunguri drebu, penesimjenya ma soba and digi, that drebulia, the mahobana, and digi yang are so yunguri debale.
So what you the doubt you're pointing out here is correct. What I said then last time was some of the results that come from killing, not all the results. And you've mentioned here a result that does come from killing. So in brief, from causality, many results can come from a single cause. Not necessarily, but many results can come from a single cause. So if the cause was the act of killing, then results that can come from this can be a shortened lifespan, can be illness, can be being killed oneself. All of those can come from the single cause. Some or one of those can come from a single cause. So yes, that was an additional result. That what you mentioned is an additional result that can come from the act of killing. So then that was the second question. And the third question, so I'll just mention it in brief, but this is where a criminal does something particularly heinous, and then the legal system sentences them perhaps to death or life imprisonment or some kind of punishment. So then, how should we react there? Because on one hand, the illustration that was given here is the terrific rape that was happened in Delhi in 2012, and where the victim eventually died from this horrific rape. And there was, of course, tremendous suffering both to the victim, to her family, as well as experienced throughout society. So then later, the rapists were executed for their crime. So how should one respond to this? Because there is a feeling that when they are executed, that this is justice has been carried out. That these individuals who committed something so heinous, they got their just desserts, so to speak. That justice was served. And this comes from that I can really relate easily to I feel compassion readily for the victim of the crime and those who are impacted, the other people who are impacted by the crime, such as her family and society. But I struggle to know how to relate well or skillfully to the perpetrators of such a heinous crime. So can Genla give us some advice on how to relate to the perpetrators of the crime? This one?
얘네 디그리베 세지로다 디로와 레 지당 저기 지딩기 지용기 남균 지딩 용자기다 최단 기시마셰바 있나 아주 지딩 비교 저당 토네 기셰바 있나 다 파레 현대 코론 정화다 제임제제는 가소레 현련 뇌바시고 기wen자 코론기 델리아 팀도 토네 코론을 녀바 연구해야지 지금 연구에 착으로 받아 그렇고 녀바 연구해야지 그 저당으로 착고래 지나딩아 좀 기시해야 말해. 다 이내 당한 저기 예균제 개왕아 치당 다 최유권 돈에 삼다베나 나 되니기 미디기 코여되니 제발에대 콜레야 닝제 선배 닝제 공부고래. 공부비기 간스 공부고래라나 코여 현래 제왕 제바디 가르치니 제발에라나 코여를 되창문도 교르체 차광문도 교르 차병문도 교르체는 야 현래 제왕 제하다 디기 괜찮은 현래 내버제 지 제자야 되는 중간에 세상 거의 노트 차바를 거의 노트 차바를 가르치는 코로나 미코로나랑 하면도 녀모 보고도 교르샤스 세상 녀모 보고도 교르닝제에 삼백에 데미텔이야 녀모를 향하도 송아레샤 삼지 미텔이 닝지야래 안에 직내 가르쳐 삼직 가르당 고르람네 거의 미션이야 녀바기 정원에는 파줄라 강아이 먹고 제 오늘에 강아 먹고 제시에 코로나 디부뼈만 싸요레스 디부 싸제 디비 온게 다 코로나 개와치마 동아 용하게 아니 레 먹고 싸요레스 제가 동아 용을 레사 되네 디부 먹고 닝제 삼비게 안델이야 닝제스 덴디기 김전체 삼다지 닝지기야 직제 김전 찍라 다고 전가나 주고야 전가나 주체 강아 채고야 타마라야 그런 소토 조고야기 지기 강아지 채버거다 근데 강아 채바디 아니 공원에다네 다 수인에 강아세도 고고 말에 되고 말에 이나지 강아 수인에 강아지 고고 말에 이내다 강아도 닝지 다운에 미디어 신도 그 강아지 용고 채버래 니 강아 녀의 귀디 가르치에서는 그런 일이야 아니 녀모베 샤와도 송아제 샤리아 자와제다 두스네 디기 긴지 좋아래 선배기 대수 삼다제 콜이야 닝제 선배 닝제다 코 닝제 선배 닝제 겁나 당아주 저기 낭비기 최기 마주의 냠링 토네 삼다반에 두스네 김제 삼다제 콜이 닝제 공고래 디니 닝제 공바 있나 가르요라서나 소솔이야 소수기 닝지에다 잠시한에 잠지게 삼로디 슉쳐르고 누버셔르고래 제가 샤리에 잠지게 삼로디 소수기라 누버 슉쳐르고래 제가 누버 슉쳐르고 지잠기 안 소소이나 셈 소수기와에다 안 샤리야 샤리네야 안 잠지게 토네 개와엔자 샤리에 탐부트 투에게 누버체 용고래 제가 디네자 델이야 아주 낭비 최유다 개와치마 레균데 두 삼다베나 나중에 콜이야 닝제 공부고래
What you describe here, I think, is probably quite common in the world. It's certainly very widespread in the world. When there's a sense of justice that when someone does something that's something wrong, that there should be some penalty for that. And when it is something to the extent of an act such as this, then an appropriate response is expected and desired by the world, in the world through the worldly way of thinking. So therefore, even rejoicing when the perpetrator is executed or imprisoned in uncomfortable circumstances, then the common way, the worldly way, the common way of relating to this is to rejoice in the pain that this person the perpetrator is experiencing because they deserved it. So this is the common way of thinking, and what's expressed here in the question is understandable from the worldly perspective. But from the Buddhist perspective, especially from the perspective of someone who's striving for liberation and enlightenment for the sake of all beings, a radically different approach is justified, is required. So here we're just talking about how to relate to the perpetrator, because it's quite clear how to relate to the victim and those impacted, those other people impacted by the heinous actions. But the way that someone who aspires for enlightenment should respond to the perpetrator is to generate compassion for them, genuine compassion for them. And this comes about in dependence on receiving many teachings and reflecting deeply on their meaning. Because through understanding how our thought process comes about, we understand that whenever the afflictions control one and are dominant within one actually lacks freedom. Those afflictions compel one to act in a particular way. So those afflicted minds compel us to act in ways which bring harm. And one does so without freedom. And this is most definitely the case for those who commit heinous crimes, such as rape. Whatever those afflictions were, whether they were anger or attachment, certainly ignorance, whatever those afflictions were that were dominant within the perpetrator's continuum, they were suffering in that time, and those at that moment. And those afflictions were of incredible strength, because it's only due to the strength of those afflictions that something that heinous could be done. So therefore, without discounting the suffering that the victim was experiencing, that the perpetrators too were suffering. And moreover, so that would be the first step to reflect on here. Moreover, they weren't only suffering at the time that they engage in this unacceptable behavior, this heinous act, but they were creating very powerful karmic imprints which will lead to tremendous suffering in future lives. And this independence on the strength of the cause that's accumulated will be the severity of the ripening result. And when you think then of the suffering that will be experienced by these perpetrators in future lives, compassion again will arise within ourselves, knowing that these beings, when that negative karma ripens in future lives, will suffer greatly. And furthermore, then thirdly, between the great suffering they were experiencing whilst afflicted and perpetrating this crime, and when the negative karma ripened, in the period between that, these perpetrators experienced many other sufferings. They were arrested, they were quite possibly beaten, they were imprisoned in dire situations, they were most probably abandoned, and more than abandoned, they were forcefully rejected by their loved ones, their communities, their families, and then they were executed. So they experienced many further sufferings as well in the intermediate period. And reflecting on that too, compassion arises within us. So the purpose for us as aspirants to the bodhisattva paths, as aspirants to the attainment of Buddhahood, the purpose for us in engaging in this reflection is to generate love and compassion for all beings, regardless of who they are and regardless of their current circumstances or the deeds they have committed. And it's through the generation of love and compassion, even in difficult circumstances like this, circumstances where it doesn't spontaneously arise within us, that we grow in skill as a practitioner, and we can be of ever greater benefit to beings. So that then is the third question. And the fourth question, so then the fourth question, how do we recognize unwholesome teachers, in particular in the context of the internet, because these days one can receive teachings from a wide variety of people on the internet. So how does one recognize if they are an unwholesome or an unwholesome teacher or not?
Alright, internet nala mangbo na she ge lama de that lama ge shin ye chingi da den ba re ma re sim ge lo be ge shin ye na ye ge shin ya da ba yin na min na se be che sa de da di ngazo kana sagu kure se de ha ko de chik dos kale khaborwa internet ta sha ke de kale khabor ine da ngazo di donda la jeju tang go ge yimsen je yo mar ba de ro ko ti lo bi ko internet la ta shu ge we shen cha sa ya bo re ma re sang zu gi jum ji chim ju je go ge jumsen je yo mar ba ma yo mar da zo so so rang rang gi ge yin chi so so rang rang gi ge we shin den ba yin na da di na ge we shin yang da ba jian bu gu re se wo ba da di den ge we shin yang da ba da ane yang da lo ba yin min de kan is ha gu gu re la na zo so so rang gi je ba chi wo ba de ya ane lama de gi so so rang le chue xie de kan ne xi gi du ane ji ge ane lama de gi so so dang le xie ne ane ji ge so so gi so so ya ane mi tun ba ru je di be le ga ka ri chi gi du je ba je da de ne gi tong ba yin na da lama ye so so rang le ma chue xie ba de pen ba jiang jiang xie je da lama de ne be jia wa di chi gi du min ne ba da de ne jian bu tong be na da lama de yang da ba ge we xin de chai go ru wa da lama de gi ji so so la jie dang go ho dang ge yo bo ro da ji no chu ru xie de ge yo ba da de ne gi an ji lo be ge jia wa da ma ji ge yo ba de gyan ro ji meng bu tong ge na da di lama de yang da ba ge we xin ma yin ba ro chai go ru wa ji zan de ne je go de so so ge tian ge lama le ya an lama de yang da ba de yang da ba kan de chai sa de du ji ne so so ge je ba je na an ge le je ba jin ha go ro ji ya go ro wa da de in de na da sha be ge de ne ji ge ti ge me ka ya go yu ge da de ya go ma lama mong mo yo re ngan ju ge da di sim ju che na an da di so so ge lama ting ge yo ba na ne da sim ju che na ri go lama ting ge men da di gang zo da du ne gyen che ga so cha yo go be je la ne ga pang zo le ka so le di sim ju che go ba shi ka me de ga cha go re.
Yes, certainly. On the internet, one is fortunate that one can receive a wide variety of teachings from a number of different people. But whether those teachers are wholesome or unwholesome teachers, this is very difficult to know when our relationship is through the medium of the internet. So in reality, it's particularly difficult, almost you could say it's impossible to know whether a teacher is wholesome or not when your relationship is through the internet. So before I answer the question specifically about, which is how does one recognize whether a teacher is wholesome or not, I think the primary point to get across in this answer is that one can and perhaps should receive teachings from many different people if one wishes, but one doesn't therefore necessarily take them as a teacher. In other words, you can receive teachings from someone without them being your teacher. And you can receive many teachings from someone without them being your teacher. For them to be your teacher depends on you generating that attitude, that mind, that intention. You are my teacher. I come under your care and your guidance. Guide me to liberation, enlightenment. That is the attitude that is required in order to form that relationship of student and teacher, not the mere act of receiving teachings. So therefore, when you're receiving teachings from someone, say on the internet, not only on the internet, but say on the internet, there's no requirement for them to be your teacher, even if you receive many teachings from them. So that's, I think, the key point to make here. But now to answer the question specifically on how to recognize if a teacher is wholesome or not, well, this is only done through your analysis and investigation, the usage of your intelligence over time, not relying on emotion, but rather relying on analysis. And this is done through receiving many teachings and getting to know them through their teachings and seeing if their teachings are consistently in accordance with the Dharma, they're valid, their advice that they give is in accordance with the Dharma and therefore valid. And then especially if one is in the physical presence of the teacher, that is when you can come to know them better, seeing their behavior, the way they interact with others, if it's in accordance with the Dharma. In this way, one investigates a teacher. And this takes time, and there is no rush. So that's then the specific answer to your question. But there was, I think, maybe the more important point, that you can receive teachings, and many teachings, from someone without taking them as your teacher. That requires a specific intention from your side.
Jesungore mato lama di mishanda ge lama inse tamje yanda ba yiminga to cheba chegore sadi di yanda ba yimindi ma chechua kar changdu mindus chine chegore simju chegore sadi ane di sungo bare namgyune chidana ma so lama de so rarang ge lama ten ba ina lama de ten yodu lama de teli ten ge da yenden 다 계셔 사상 상규도 민도 야다바리도 민도 세베게 소소게 라마디 심주시야디 라마디게 아니 소소게 티야 라마디게 노트 가르가르 지우도 녀마이 가르치샤 미샬레 네비게 자와 아니 지 교용 고하다야 되는데 지도의 지민도 나치 로과 시제 또 시도의 시민도 세베게 심주시야디 암조냐야다 디제로와 나 소소랑 알리마마 송샤이 디게 소소게 냠는 제도 다다 렘바도의 민도 삼자데 디제로와 디르마도 지당당 저기 라마 망보미 유튜브 나라 로마 소소라랑 라마 망보지 마다 샤요래 지사 디니자 라마 가시라는 예 미카시게 소소게 나와마도 토네 균지지시게 소소게 따와다 메티메토네 균지지게 망보요래 그거는 네 가시긴 미 소소게 로마디기게 양 라마데리아 뛰어마다 요요래 지사 디니자 인터넷에 또다 라마데 양다 바야다 마르생아들람사 디리아 미션데게 라마디기라 만두스체나이나 아니 맞게 심주지알이야 깔래 가보야래 이내 고야시에 메디가 차고래
When someone makes the decision that this person is my spiritual teacher, then it's imperative that that spiritual teacher is a wholesome teacher, someone who's suitable to rely on, someone who's suitable, who has the required qualities to guide you to liberation and enlightenment. So here, I'm trying to emphasize the aspect of you in this, because it's your choice whom you choose to take as a teacher, because it's you who's going to rely on them. It's you who's going to receive the teachings and implement them within yourselves so that you can spiritually progress. So therefore, the responsibility to take your time and investigate a teacher, not rely on emotion, but rely on reasoning and intelligence. This is your responsibility. This will be your teacher, your responsibility. And in this process, it's fine, it's perhaps good to ask other people, perhaps students of their teacher, ask them about the teacher, to hear the reputation that this teacher has, whether there are scandals, whether those scandals have a basis or not, whether there are no scandals. Hear these things, but not rely on reputation, not rely on charisma. Rely on your intelligence. And for you to be able to investigate someone takes time. So there are three key points here. It's up to you. Secondly, rely on your intelligence. Thirdly, it takes time. And as was said there before, you can receive teachings from whomever. That doesn't make you their student and them your teacher. To become their student requires that intention from your side. So receive teachings. Doesn't make them your teacher. You take your time. Hear their teachings, reflect on those teachings, the validity, the accuracy, the skill and the way it's delivered. Does it work for you? Does it meet your personal needs? Observe their behavior. See if they consistently act in accordance with the Dharma. So on YouTube, on the internet, there are of course a great number of teachers. They're all, probably all or most of the great masters in the world are present. Their teachings are present on YouTube, and this is a great boon in this modern day, in this modern world. But of course, then also those teachers who are behind whom there is scandal, they also appear on the internet. And those whose behavior is unethical, but that is not widely known, will be on the internet. And there are teachers on the internet who are famous, and their fame is deserved, and there are also those on the internet who are more infamous. It's difficult to know whom, just via the internet, whom is a wholesome teacher or not. So it's a difficult medium to take a teacher, but it's certainly a medium by which one can receive information, receive teachings.
Lungang iki kyu yang se shempaki chöpa yamena me döpa drupki mare deni zopa gomye ninche dam wikele di ninche dam jowa yope di ngapa dan tama deni inchige tokla lokin. So now the fifth and the final question. Given that anger or its minds of its class, such as irritation and frustration, often rise due to not getting what one wants, or other people not behaving in the way that one thinks they should, would it be correct to say that acceptance and compassion are essential components of patience? Yes, then it dura sopa gomyeki chitsunekyu sopa gomyedang ninche dang tumporepe dang shempa kelente shempa koranga kelente den ni sopa gomye dang tumporepe de dura de sopa kikorata.
that did Zobacoma, that Niji and the Soboka Tumba Chagua, Carson Delia, Niji Comio, doing Conlia, and the Chisoso Tawa, the Martin Bashin, Conriki, College Jamze, Jamba, Zawa Combaina, Delia, no Conrolang Marwa, Chesan Sobocom to Body, Sobocomiagi, to Goradi.
In brief, then, the answer is yes, that acceptance and compassion are essential components of patience, because it's the cultivation, through cultivating love and compassion, to the extent that those minds are generated within oneself, or one is habituated to love and compassion, to that extent anger will not arise, because love and compassion are contrary to anger. If one is habituated strongly to love and compassion, anger will struggle to manifest within oneself. And thereby, one can, due to the presence of love and compassion, or one's habituation to love and compassion, one can, with ease, practice patience. So thank you. So those then are the answers, hopefully clear answers to the 5 questions. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.